The last concept we have to discuss is simple interest. Simple interest is something that you're going to start seeing more of, especially if you start, say, applying to colleges. You're going to see interest on student loans, but trying to buy a car, trying to buy a house. You're going to see interest a lot. Simple interest is just basically the percent of money you need to pay back on a loan or percent of money you get for leaving money in a bank or account. There's a basic formula. It's I equals P R T. Do we see any addition or subtraction or anything signs in between? No. So if you don't see a sign, what operation is there between the letters? Multiplication. So it's interest equals principal times rate times time. Interest is the amount that would be our total that you're going to have to pay back on top of the loan, or the amount of money you're getting extra in your bank account. The principal is the money you start with. The rate is the percent, which you'll have to change to a decimal. And the time is always going to be expressed in years. If I wanted to find the total amount, though, make sure that once you get your answer for interest, you add it back to the principal that you started with. That's how you get the total. Let's try some practice problems. In this first slide, we're just asking how much interest will be earned. Just the interest, not the total. Look at number 1. The principal is $34,100 at 4% for 3 years. So, for example, again, we're using I equals PRT. So I'm going to find it by doing I equals, the principal is $34,100 times the rate. Remember, I said you have to change the rate to a decimal. So you should be able to do that by now, by either moving the decimal or dividing 4 by 100. You'll get 0.04. And then we're going to multiply that by the time in years, which it is, so I can just multiply it by 3. When you type in 34,100 times 0.04 times 3, you will get the interest to be, and this is money, $4,092. Sorry. So if I took out a $34,100 loan, I would have to pay that back, and I'd have to pay $4,092 in interest back. So I'd have to pay both of those amounts back in order to be okay with who I loan the money from. Let's try another one. Number 2. Again, same equation, I equals PRT. This time, the principal is $20,600 times the rate of 8%, which change it to a decimal, 0.08, times the time in years. It is in years, but it is 2 3/4 years. What is 3/4 as a decimal? It would be 0.75, so 2.75 years. If you type in 20,600 times 0.08 times 2.75, you will get the interest to be, and this is money, $4,532. Now, You may look at the two problems we just did and say, well, why does this problem have a higher interest than the first one? When we left it in there for a less amount of time, it's only 2 3/4 years versus 3 years. And the money was smaller. Why is that more? You really have to look at is the percent. We almost doubled the percent there. So it's going to be a bit higher. That's why you always, when you're borrowing money from somewhere, you always want to find the lowest rate or the lowest percent. Now try 3 and 4 on your own and then hit play to see if you are correct. For number 3, it would be I equals PRT. The principal this time, is 14,000, not a chopped off 0. I'll add that in there. Times the rate, which is 6% or 0.06, times the timing years, which is 9. If you type in 14,000 times 0.06 times 9, you will get an interest amount of $7,560. Sorry. On the last one, I equals PRT. The principal is $35,800 times a rate of 8.2%. Now remember, if you get confused, just divide that by 100 to get the actual decimal of 0.082 times the timing years, which is 3. If you type in 35,800 times 0.082 times 3, it'll give you an interest amount of $8,806, and it says 0.8 on your calculator, but that means 80 cents. Let's try the next thing. For this section, instead of just finding the interest, we're going to find the total amount of money. So first we need to look at number 5. We have to plug it into the same equation and do the same steps we were doing on the last one. Principal is 4,000 at 3%, so that's 0.03 as a decimal, times the timing years. 4.5 years is the same as 4.5. If I type those in, times 0.03 times 4.5, that gives you an interest amount of $540. But that's not the total. Now I have to add the principal, which is the 4,000, and the interest. And they just happen to be kind of all lined up right here. So if I add those two together, the interest and the principal, I would get, change my total of $4,540. So I may have borrowed $4,000, but I'm paying back $4,540. Now try the other 3. Be careful on your time, and then play it to see if you are correct. For this one, for number 6, it should be I equals PRT, $210 times 0.08 times 7, which gives you $117.60. Again, I can just add these two numbers, the 210, which is the principal, and the interest together, and I would get a total of, still going to be 60 cents, $327.60. Number 7 is going to be I equals PRT. 7,400 is the principal, times the 10.5% rate, which is 0.105, times 1/4 years. 1/4 is the same as 0.25. So I type in all of these and see my answer, which is $194.25. Now again, if I add these up, there's my principal and my interest. I will get a total of, I can move that up. Let's see. Still 25 cents. $7,594.25. The last one, 43,000 times 0.048 times 2 would give me an interest of 4,128. Again, I need to add the interest and the principal back together, and I would get $47,128. Now we're going to look at these more in context. How much interest is earned on an $8,000 investment at an annual rate of 12% for 1 year? Same formula. They want to know how much interest, so I know the I is the thing I don't know, the interest. The principal is what I started with, the investment, which is $8,000, times the rate of 12%, which becomes 0.12, for 1 year, so times 1. That means the interest equals $960. So if I make an investment and I put this money in towards something and I earn that interest, that means I'm actually getting free money. I'm getting $960 for free versus a loan, which I would just be paying more. That's the difference. Let's look at more. Mary deposits $3,000 from her summer job into an account that earns interest at a rate of 5%. How much interest will she have after 2 years? How much money will she have total? So this one's asking for both. How much interest and what her total amount will be. Now she deposits $3,000 from her summer job. Deposits means I'm putting the money into the bank account. Putting money in the bank. So we're still using the same equation. I equals PRT. We're first going to find the interest. The principal is what she started with, which is $3,000. Times her rate, which was 5%, which as a decimal is 0.05. And she's going to put it in there for 2 years. So the times 2. That means the amount of interest is $300. So that's our first answer. Now we want to find the total. So again, we take the principal, $3,000, and we add the interest, and we get a total of $3,300 total. So she put in the bank $3,000. She's getting $300 in interest for free for leaving it in the bank for 2 years. And now she'll have $3,300. Woohoo, free money. Joey deposits $1,500 of his tax refund into an account that earns 4% interest. How much interest will his account earn after 6 months? How much total money will he have after 6 months? Again, this is asking both how much interest and how much total. We're going to have to answer both questions. Now again, he's depositing money from a tax refund. And you may have heard about tax refunds recently because they were all due in April. Everyone has to submit and go and submit their taxes to the government. And sometimes you get money back from the government. Woohoo! And Joey got $1,500 that he put in the bank for safekeeping. And he earned some money on it. Let's see how much. So we're still with I equals PRT. The money he started with is the money that he deposited, which is $1,500. It was at a rate of 4%, so that's 0.04 as a decimal. But this time, it's for 6 months. And what did we say time has to be in? Yep, years. So what is 6 months of a year? Yep, half of a year, or 0.5 of a year. When I multiply all those, I get $30. And that's our first answer. This answer is how much interest, but now we got to find the total. So I take the $1,500 he started with, and I add $30 to that. And I know that his total is $1,530. So for just keeping that money in the bank for half of a year, he will get $30 for free from the bank. No one gets free money. It may not seem like a lot, but if you don't ever get free money is free money. Take it and run. In our last example, Mr. Calabrese is buying a house. He needs to borrow $200,000 from the bank. Currently, the interest rate is at 6%, and he plans to pay the loan back over 30 years. How much money total will he end up paying back to the bank? Try this on your own, and then hit play to see if you're correct. This is a real type of situation. Some houses do cost $200,000, and you do borrow the money from the bank. So let's see what happens. How much interest would he be paying back? Start with I equals PRT, just to find the interest first. The principal was $200,000 times the rate of 6%, which is 0.06, times the time in years, which was 30, and you get $360,000. But that's just the interest. We want to know the total. So I have to take the $200,000 house and add the interest. So even though he only will borrow $200,000 from the bank, because he's going to do it for 30 years, the interest on that is $500. With the interest and the amount for the house, he's going to end up paying $560,000. And yes, that is what it was really like to pay back a loan on a house, if you take that long. So again, the lower the interest rate is usually the better. Good luck on the next step.